Hi everybody. In the previous video, we were discussing about the two different classifications of auditing, that is classification on the basis of organizational structure and then classification on the basis of degree of independence. In this video, we are going to study about different classifications of auditing on the basis of time. And on the basis of time, auditing is classified into two, that is interim audit and also annual audit. So let us see in detail what is interim audit and what is annual audit. Interim audit in big business accounts are audited throughout the year. In big businesses accounts are audited throughout the year, but in small businesses accounts are audited once only. When an auditing is conducted between two periodical audits for some interim purpose like declaring interim dividend, termed as interim audit. So generally, an audit of account of first 6 months of financial year is known as interim audit. So interim audit means, as we all know, that it is compulsory that every organization should do auditing at least once in a year. Usually, every company is used to do auditing at the end of a financial year. That is in case of small businesses, but in case of large business organizations or big business organizations, they may be doing auditing at least 2 times in a year. So if an auditing is done between two financial year, then we call it as interim audit. Okay, so sometimes when it is conducted between two financial year, it may be for the purpose of declaring interim dividend or some other internal matters. So an auditing which is conducted in between two financial year, we call it as interim audit. So some of the advantages of conducting interim audit is it is time saving. It is advisable to declare interim dividend. So after doing an auditing, we will get a clear cut idea relating to the aspects that is happened in the firm, and from that we can decide whether to declare dividend or not. So it is advisable to declare interim dividend. And also moral check on employees will be there because the auditor frequently visits the business organization, and also it is useful at the time of sale of any business organization. So this is interim audit. Interim audit means any auditing that is done between two financial year, we call it as interim audit. Main purpose of doing interim audit is to declare interim dividend, and some of the advantages are it is time saving, and it will be more helpful while declaring the interim dividend. Moral check of the employees will be done because the auditor is frequently visiting the business organization and checking the books of account. And when they are going to sell any particular business organization, then an interim, even though a financial at the end of the previous financial year an auditing is done, an interim audit can also be done in order to sell the business organization. And next is annual audit or final audit. An auditing is taken up at the end of the financial year when the financial accounts are prepared is known as the financial audit or final audit or annual audit. So, auditing. So audit is taken when an auditing is taken up at the end of the financial year, then it is known as annual audit or final audit. An auditor attends only once at the end of the year and complete the work at a stretch in a continuous session. In this case, the auditor will be visiting the organization once in a year, and they will be taking 1 or 2 weeks and they will be completing the auditing works. A final audit is one which is not commenced until after the end of the financial period and is then carried on until completed. It is also known as periodical audit or complete audit. Another name for annual audit or final audit is periodical audit or complete audit. So this type of auditing is done only once in a year. An auditor and his staff will visit at the end of the financial year and they will be verifying all the books of accounts of the company. And such auditing will be completed on a continuous sitting. So they will be taking 1 or 2 weeks. They will be continuously working on the books of accounts of the company for these times, and they will be completing the auditing work. So these are the different classification of auditing on the basis of time. On the basis of time, audit is classified into two, that is interim audit and annual audit. If any auditing is done in between two financial year, then we call it as interim audit. And if any auditing is done at the end of the financial year, we call it as annual audit or final audit or periodical audit or complete audit. So next classification we can discuss in the next video. Thank you all for listening to me.